Hi, I'm Abbi Custis. I'm an artist, entrepreneur, mom of 3 boys, wife, and creative thinker. And I am excited to share a little bit about my world, my studio, and most recently a collaboration with Liza Pruitt on circles that evoke imagination, play, and joy. I have been drawn to circles for a while, and I listened to a podcast on circles a couple years ago, and it inspired me because it noted that everything associated with kid wonder and joy is a circle. A lot of times a lollipop, a Ferris wheel, a hot air balloon, they're all circles in essence. And outside of that, they connect us. They connect us as humanity, they connect us spiritually, they connect us in all the ways. They are open and expansive, but they're also safe and comforting at the same time. So there's just a lot of wonder within a circle. So I have 3 little boys. They are
What do you guys
11, 9, and 7.
Painting the car?
And they absolutely inspire my work, and they have since the very beginning. My oldest, before I was considering myself an artist, I was working in DC and working remotely, and he would come in my little closet studio and play with the paint, and he was so uninhibited and free and present in the moment with the paint. He would get it all over himself, embody the paint and the moment with the piece in front of him or on his body. And I remember thinking in that moment in time, wow, that's it. That's presence. I think of that when I'm painting now, that moment of his presence, and that's what I try to do in my work and in my life in parenting them, is practice presence. They also, which is so magical, and I didn't even realize this, but they will look at my work and find things in it, kind of like when you're a kid and you look in the clouds and you see different things, and it reminds me that that is what abstract art does. It inspires us in different ways, and every viewer has a different take on the piece. I specialize in my own type of art that I sort of created. I didn't go to art school, so I specialize in abstract art, but it's really just using things outside the box and creating different things from different materials in my studio and things I find inspiration through, and hardware stores, and residue from old paintings I turn into new paintings. So I often use materials other than paintbrushes to create my work, and it was inspired from my dad, who had this collection of tools, and I was always very inspired by them, and I never knew really what he was doing. He was not like a tool man, but he had all these tools, and when he passed away, we didn't know what to do with his tools, but I had this intuitive knowing that I needed them, and they became my paintbrushes. Through my grief of his passing, I used them to move the paint and play with the paint, and it informs my work still today. I am always wanting to do something. I'm 5'1" tall, and I love things very large. So painting on canvases that are bigger than me, which doesn't take much, is my favorite thing, and working in huge spaces that I can be creative and explore different mediums and different shapes and collaborate with other artists and like minds is what I would love to continue to do. And it doesn't have to be, as I always say, a square or a rectangle. I want to continue to think outside the box and bring in different elements to my pieces and in larger landscapes. I get asked all the time what color is my favorite. I've never been asked what color would I be, and honestly, it's the color white. And I know that seems kind of boring, but white evokes to me potential, and all my pieces have white in them because they bring light to them, and that is very important to me in my work, that it lights up a room, and therefore I want to do that in my physical presence as well. So I would go with white. So the collaboration, I played around in my head a lot about what to call it, and it landed very basic on the circle story. because circles do tell a grander story of life, and they symbolically represent that in their essence. And this particular collaboration has multiple circles within each piece, which to me represents all that we have going on within our individual lives, but it's all connected. So that felt like a story to me. We each have a story, we each have our own circle, we share our circles with others, and then they come together as one. It took a lot of sketches and a lot of playing and like a puzzle, moving it around. We sketched it out on the floor a few times and just played with the layout. But the meaning behind the multiple circles and the layering of them is symbolic to life, how we have a lot of circles going at once. Circle here, circle there, kids, work, all the things, but they all work together. Everyone has a circle story, so I invite you to think about what is your circle story.